Grand Risings. It's been an eventful 24 hours. There have been some great ideas and implementations I've been attracted to, namely the purpose of sleep and what to do with it, and then what to do about it when one is not sleeping. Last night, I was reading a book written, and I'll mention it at some point, but right now it's not important. It was talking about life, greed. Greed is good. And in other words, in a different book, it was talking about how you can use your greed to combat your timidity about being timid to go get this money. Get greedy because you want more. You have a desire you want to fulfill, that needs to be fulfilled. So when you feel timid, use greed to push you through it, or use anger to push you through your timidity to fulfill your greed. And until you can actually get the dedication to just push through that negative resistance, and the sluggishness. Yeah, use anger for sluggishness. And then also when it's talking about like going to sleep, like last night, I didn't go to sleep until 5:30 this morning, and it didn't affect me at all. I mean, I woke up after about 5 hours of sleep, and I was just reading the entire night. And this is something I do frequently. I mean, I read all the time. I'm always reading some books, and I'm looking into these records, the internet records, book records. There's a lot of free books, like a lot of free education online. You just have to have the desire, and I do. So I was just reading all night, and it was talking about how, Aristotle, they thought a lot about a lot of things, and they put it into implementation in their states, their city states. I mean, we call them city states because we have really huge states and countries today, but they had enough people, 10,000, 13,000, 30,000, to have developed differences between their kingdoms, states, and chiefdoms, tribes. And so the way they're teaching me, these masters of old, they not only were well traveled, but they also knew about different countries, different states. But here today, like, I can apply this to the future, apply this to right now. I can have different business in different countries. And one country they extremely respected was Ethiopia. It wasn't something that I was like thinking of, like, for whatever reason. I always thought that Egypt was the country that people really were attracted to at that time in the Mediterranean, and Greece and Italy and so-called Asia. It's not Asia today, but it always just seemed like Egypt was like, oh yeah, that's where the Egyptians were. But the time of the Egyptians was way before these Greek philosophers were doing their writings. And it seems like the census of Africa, intellectual, education, defense, strength, have moved to Ethiopia, Eritrea. And I mean, to be honest, I was looking up like who are the like wealthiest people over there, and what does it take and stuff like that, and to go there, and what languages do they speak? They speak of like 88 different languages, and it seems like they've been untouched. Like they're on top of their thing, on top of their game in their culture, and they've been that way since the Greeks. Not only that, they have their own language. Like they have their own different script that's not English. So that it definitely means that many of their libraries and writings, publications, content, things of that sort, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of ideas and concepts that have probably stayed in that written language that haven't been transferred over, which is part of probably why they're still successfully united as a strong culture. And so Ethiopia, it's interesting. Well, yeah. Just we're learning more about the people, what it means to be king in these countries, the politics, the government, and how the government, I can apply this in many ways, how the government extends from my family to my city, to my state, the emotions of the people on the other side, whether or not they're my friends or they're my enemies, and how they feel about me, if they feel good about me, or if they feel I'm too strong, or if they feel like they want to use flattery, all these different tactics that people use, which have destroyed kingdoms and empires and caused people to be fallen. I'm aware of why and what it was that they didn't do to get the upper, get the better. That's it's crazy. Well, no, it's actually enlightening because people don't change. People don't change. Things change. Like they were even talking about, like there's many things that have been known. Some have fallen into misuse. Some haven't been used enough. And I didn't even explain that concept the right way. So like concepts get distorted over time, and people stay the same, especially when they keep records. Like when you keep records of all the conflicts and stuff, it's like, oh man, like this is why this business succeeded. This is why this business failed. This is why this country was overthrown. This is why this country invaded this country and conquered their lands and their culture and their people. And you're just like, okay, well, what can I do? Strength. So that's important. And with me getting this good momentum going with everything in my personal business, I'm able to have more freedoms and independence, which is beneficial. Use it wisely and move slowly at a slow pace, as if it's all easy. Do the easy things. And that allows me to plan for the easier things to come my way. Pick up the opportunities which seem as if they would be not a burden. They're just knapsacks. And when I do that, no matter at what pace I move and I keep my boundaries, I will always inevitably manage and grow. For instance, I interviewing this contractor yesterday to do a paint job for me. And this dude, he was confused. He was confused in the middle of the conversation. Once we got to the point where he was supposed to, I gave him, well, this is how it happened. He was supposed to give me his quote. He switched on me. So I gave him my address. I gave him how many square, I gave him my address. I gave him how many bedrooms. I gave him pictures. And then he said, oh, is this the house? I was like, yeah, okay. He's like, well, I normally do this amount for square foot for the paint job. I'm like, okay, well, so it sounds like you know how much you want to do for square foot. You know which house. This is my house. Give me a total. Give me an estimate. It sounds like you have a quote because you're saying numbers. And he's like, well, I can give you an estimate, yeah, but for me to give you a precise, for me to give you an exact estimate, for me to give you an exact number, I have to go out to the house and look at it. And then that way I make sure I'm not overbidding or, no. He didn't say that. He said so that he can make sure he's not quoting me too, not giving me a too high number or underbidding. And I said to that, I was like, well, why did you ask for that information if you weren't going to be able to give me an estimate? And he had asked for me to get him pictures of the rooms I wanted painted, and I got them and sent them to him. Then his rebuttal was confused. He was saying something about, it's like me going to an auto body shop asking for a paint job, but not telling them the make, model, or giving them any pictures of the car. And so he's like, that's not good business for me to just throw out a number so you can, yeah. And that's what he was saying. Things like, it's not good business for me to just throw out a number, so I have to give you, so I can't give you I can't give you an exact estimate. I can't give you an exact amount. And that to me seemed off-putting, because I gave him that information, and I was like, well, why did you want that information if not to give me a quote, like my address, and then you're telling me what you charge per square foot, and I got these pictures for you, so you know the main thing is I got these pictures. And he was just saying like, well, and then he was even on top of that. After I said those things, he said, well, you asked for 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms you wanted painted. And yeah, so, and this was all through text. So not only was it was confusing that he was asking for that information to not give me a price quote, but he also didn't remember what we had talked about, which was I just wanted the 3 bedrooms and a living room and half of the kitchen painted, which is a lot different from 2 bathrooms. But then he went ahead and quoted me for the entire square footage of the whole house, which I also didn't ask for. It was because that would be like all the closets and the bathrooms, which I didn't ask him to paint. And he was like, I'm like, this dude isn't. And then he was really trying to get an attitude, because he got an attitude, whatever the case. I got an attitude. I got mad because this dude wasn't following simple instructions, and he wasn't clearly remembering what it was we talked about, and then trying to talk to me as if I needed a more explanation. However, it was all through text, and it was a simple, it was a simple job. It was just like, okay, 3 bedrooms, living room, half of the kitchen. And you have the pictures of these things. So this is the pictures I sent you are what's going to be painted. All I'm saying is, the summation of what I'm saying is, I was mad because he was incompetent. He just didn't know what he was talking about, and then he was trying to use some metaphors to justify himself, which were bad metaphors anyways. So even though he was going to do more work than we agreed upon, because he agreed to do more work in his confusion, it's still not a good idea I'm still not going to work with him, because he seems like the type of person to want me to give him something, but really he's just taking from me, and then continue to want me to give him without acknowledging what I've already given him. Because in the quote, he was saying, or in his metaphor, he was saying what I'm asking for is a paint job without giving the make and model and pictures of the car. But those are already things that I had given him for this particular situation. So he didn't even acknowledge the things that I said or did. And he was making excuses like, oh, he had to go look up the home himself somewhere else to find the square footage of it. No, he didn't. So he's already assuming more than what is required, and he didn't ask the right questions to get the information that he wanted. So it's like he's not being upfront, just even over text. So I'm not gonna work with him. And he probably seems like he would try to like do something, some more like just stupid or like deceptive type of tactics, especially when he tried to use a metaphor. So anytime someone uses a metaphor, it's like because you don't understand, or they think you don't understand. However, his metaphor was bad because all of the particulars of it were not relevant. In fact, they were the exact opposite. So he just wasn't like smart. He was confused, and I think he was just trying to, use them tactics to like get his foot in the door so he can impress me in person. Because then after that, he sent like a text that was like flattery. He's like, yeah, we're excited to work with you. Well, we want your business. We're excited to work for you, and we look forward to the opportunity. Something like that to kind of clean up the argument we had because he was stupid. And so that flattery, I really realized instantly, it made me feel better. So he's probably one of those people who doesn't think about what they're saying or do and just uses flattery as a way to make you feel a little bit better about them not actually being competent. So it's probably something that's worked for other people in the past who are weaker. I'm not working with him though, because people like that it might seem like, oh, he agreed to do more work than what I even talked to him about on the phone. But that just means, one, he wasn't paying attention the first time I talked to him. And two, he may not do all of the work. Because honestly, he may not do all of it. And then inclusive of that, I got other quotes. And he made me mad. But that's because he was trying to deceive me. I felt deceived. I don't know what his intentions are. I felt deceived. I felt he was confusing me on purpose. So I got mad. And that's a good enough reason to not do any business with him. And also, he's lazy. Like, he's actually like mentally lazy. I asked him said, hey, can you send me, I need pictures of the quality of your work. His response, if you Google my business, you'll see all the pictures, or you can check out my Instagram. I'm like, okay, it doesn't follow simple instructions. I'm not going to Google your business. I said, send me pictures, not send me to Google or tell me to go to. I say, send me pictures. You tell me, go to Google. Lazy. I don't have Instagram on my phone. Denny's also assuming, so he's an ass. So he's lazy and he's an ass. He should have just, like the other guy I asked for this. I said the same thing to the other painter. He just sent me he sent me pictures of his work, but he actually sent me screenshots of his Instagram to my phone and then sent me the link to his Instagram to my phone. So I don't even need Instagram to log into it, but I do have pictures of the quality of his work. I took how long does it take to do 4 screenshots? So this dude is lazy. He probably is like, oh, I got enough business, or I've had enough business in the past to where I could just not follow simple instructions. Nah, that stuff right there, it's it was over text. So it's like, if you can't even you're confused over text, you can't follow simple instructions, it's just gonna get more. That's how you are. I'm not gonna work with you. You're gonna make me mad. You already made me mad because you're putting words in my mouth, not remembering things, and Nah. Remember this. Don't ever work with those people like that because they'll just make the job, shoot. He might have a lower price, but I bet the quality, he's already lower quality. So, of course, he has a lower price. Duh. That makes the most sense. Right. He has a lower price because he's literally lower quality. He's a lower quality person to deal with. You get what you pay for. So, like, there's so many red flags. Pay attention to all of them. Because, the other guy was easier to work with. This guy talked too much. And he can't follow simple instructions. So, he's out. Like, he's out. I'm not going to work with him. And, cool. Remember these lessons because they rear their heads and, around the corner, challengers appear. They always appear. So remember these.